A key component of direct argumentation is a writer's claim. In a paragraph, a claim is the first sentence and it is followed by evidence and reasoning. Generally, claims have two key components. The first is a topic, or a word or phrase that tells the reader what the paragraph is about, and the second is a position or a writer's argument about that topic. A claim is not an opinion or a thought or preference unsupported by the evidence, because our job as expert writers is to analyze evidence thoroughly and allow the text itself to guide us to a conclusion. A claim is also not a fact. Remember that the point of writing an argument is to present your own logical and analytical thinking about the evidence, and it is this thinking that compels the reader to continue reading. We want to welcome readers into our thought process, to guide them through our thinking, and to present a new perspective on a given topic. With a few exceptions, facts are not new perspectives, and facts will not allow writers to craft an argument. While you should include facts in your arguments, use them in your evidence and reasoning to help support your inferences. So, how does a writer craft a claim? They do it by becoming investigators. First, they need evidence, and then they need to take some time to analyze or reason through that evidence so they can formulate their position. If a writer were to write a claim only after selecting their evidence, it is likely that their claim will be weak or a fact because they haven't allowed themselves the time to break the quote down and form their own thinking about it. In this video, I'm going to show you how to write a claim after you have selected evidence and used the matters process of reasoning to fully analyze it. If you have not written your matters section, please pause the video, complete your reasoning, and then return to this video. As you watch, please take notes on my process, so how I write the claim, and also my thinking. What do I think about or ask myself in order to be successful? You may want to watch the video a couple of times to make sure you are able to gather all the important information. So for my very first step, I'm going to reread what I have written so far. I began planning my paragraph in a Says Means Matters chart, so that's what I'm going to read from. So for my summary, I said Hamlet meets the ghost, and the ghost suggests that it and Hamlet move to a more private location. For my says or my evidence, I have this quote that says, "Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further." My means number 1, I defined the following words. Means number 2, I paraphrased the quote, so I used these words to put that quote in my own words. I said Hamlet does not know where the ghost will take him, so he chooses to stop where he is. And for my matters, I did some critical thinking and made some inferences and connections to that central idea. So I said Hamlet's refusal to travel any distance with the ghost indicates that Hamlet views it as a threat. Even though it is unknown what supernatural beings like ghosts can do to help or harm humans, private locations in themselves can be dangerous because there may not be any bystanders, and it is unknown whether anyone would visit that location with any frequency. Hamlet likely prefers the relative security of the location they are currently at because it is probably familiar to him. He cannot control the actions of the ghost, but he may be able to prevent any danger that could occur in a private location. By refusing to go any further, Hamlet affirms his fear of the unknown and also ensures his own safety, to the best of his ability. So I'm going to plan my writing by brainstorming my topic and position. For this writing assignment, I'm asked to write about how one central idea is presented in Hamlet Act 1, which means my topic is pretty straightforward. It's the central idea I'm writing about, the fear of the unknown. Now, on to my position. I'm thinking about how a position is a writer's unique perspective on the topic. It's the product of critical thinking and reasoning, so I'm going to look at the last couple sentences in my matters section to see what unique perspective I have already come up with. Well, in these last two sentences, I'm discussing my inferences about Hamlet's fear of the unknown. I discover that Hamlet ultimately protects himself by refusing to travel to an unknown location with the ghost. He cannot control the ghost's actions, but unless the ghost is able to physically move Hamlet to another place, Hamlet can at least maintain relative safety by remaining at a location that is familiar to him, a castle where he lives and is surrounded by guards, who may or may not be able to protect him from a ghost, but we're not getting into that right now. Even though this is a pretty solid inference, I'm thinking about how central ideas are what help readers learn, and they help readers understand a character's perspective or experience. This said, I'm going to ask myself, what does this information suggest about the text, the character, and/or the central idea? My brain is instantly making a connection to an earlier part of the text, and I'm thinking about how Hamlet opened his first soliloquy by explaining how he wanted to experience a gruesome death. I'm wondering about the implications of that desire. If he truly wants to die, especially in a horrible way, wouldn't he want to follow the ghost to an unknown location? Wouldn't he want to welcome the possibility that the ghost could torture him and kill him? But that's not what the evidence indicates. So I'm going to ask myself a very simple question. Why? I have background knowledge to help me answer this question, but if I didn't, I could do some research to figure it out. Based on the knowledge I have gathered from my psychology and biology classes, I know that when humans undergo stress, their brain jumps to survival mode and activates the fight, flight, or freeze response. A person will respond to the stress by fighting it, running away from it, or totally freezing up, unable to do really anything about it. I'm now thinking about how this background knowledge connects to the text. Hamlet is clearly stressed out, and he protects himself by freezing. He stops in his tracks, and he refuses to go any further. Therefore, I think Hamlet is experiencing the fight, flight, or freeze phenomenon, which actively works against his desire for death. Taken together, this information helps me arrive at the position that Hamlet's fear of the unknown operates as a stress response. It seems like Hamlet is not actually ready for death. So if I combine my topic and my position together as a single sentence, I have this. Hamlet's fear of the unknown operates as a stress response that suggests he is not as ready for death as he thinks he is. This claim is proficient as is because it states my topic and my unique position on that topic. However, I'd like to add one thing to it. In this case, I'm writing about the development of central ideas in literature, so I know that I will follow up this paragraph with another about the same central idea at a later part of the text. Therefore, I think I need to mention where in the play this perspective appears, so I'm going to add a dependent clause in the beginning that provides this information. Now we have, in the beginning of the play, Hamlet's fear of the unknown operates as a stress response that suggests he is not as ready for death as he thinks he is. Perfect! So, my very, very last step is to make sure my claim aligns with my reasoning. So I'm thinking about how that very last sentence of my matter section should connect to my claim, so I'm going to make sure that it still does. That sentence says, by refusing to go any further, Hamlet affirms his fear of the unknown and also ensures his own safety, to the best of his ability. There is a subtle connection, but direct argumentation should not really be subtle. I need to be more clear about my final position and make a stronger connection to my claim by explicitly referencing Hamlet's desire for death. So, this is what I'll say instead. By refusing to go any further, Hamlet affirms his fear of the unknown and demonstrates concern for his life, a concern he did not previously have. Sweet, there it is. Now I have a claim that has a topic, a unique position, and helps my reader understand where in the text this perspective occurs. I've also made sure that there is a strong connection between my claim and my reasoning, so I know I have crafted a pretty tight direct argument. There are definitely ways I could make my claim more complex, but as is, this claim is proficient. If you'd like to push for advanced, you might consider using functional language like cause and effect, compare, or contrast to contextualize your claim. So for example, I could use a contrast functional language with the word although, and make my claim more complex by saying, although Hamlet previously uses no uncertain terms to explain his desire for death, in the beginning of the play, his fear of the unknown operates as a stress response that suggests Hamlet is not as ready for death as he thinks he is. Whatever you decide, go ahead and give it a try. You've got this.